In this video, you'll be learning about this topic.
All right, so these next two questions are crypto specific. So these are more oriented towards you, Lyn. Luke, if you have an opinion on these ones, please chime in. But I want to talk about Tether, specifically people suggesting that Tether is what's pumping the Bitcoin price. And I want to capture Lyn's opinion on that. And then I also want to capture your opinion on Ethereum, because I saw, Lyn, you recently had a post on that. So let's tackle the Tether FUD first. What is your opinion on Tether, Lyn?
I get asked a couple of times. I usually refer people to Nick Carter on that subject because he's done a lot of analysis. And, as an example, people often cite that Griffin and Shams study that argued that Tether was correlated with Bitcoin and could be driving it. But people often don't reference the fact that there were two more studies soon after it that show the opposite conclusion. And so, I have one of them here. One of them is from Viswanath and Atrage and Alliance, and another one from Wang Chu. And so these were comparable studies. The third one, I believe, had a larger sample period, and they basically just found no correlation. There's all sorts of things, like basically, a lot of people argue that Tether's just no fiats going in and they're just printing units, and that's jacking up the Bitcoin price. And one thing that, for example, Nick Carr did on his podcast is he interviewed people that actually converted fiat to Tether. And so they were saying, yeah, I was there. I was one of the whales kind of putting fiat in and getting Tether out and using it. And so, a lot of people just look at that Tether creation as driving Bitcoin, but there are Bitcoin exchanges or, crypto exchanges that use Tether as their unit of account. So when people want to buy Bitcoin, they convert fiat to Tether and then they go and buy Bitcoin. And so that kind of correlation is questionable at best. I don't really, concern myself too much with that FUD, but I do think that I wouldn't be surprised one day to wake up and see that one of these stable coins is, kind of under attack at some point, or, some sort of revelation came out and then that becomes insolvent, and it certainly result in high volatility for a variety of assets that day. I'd be more worried about the altcoins when that happens than I would be about Bitcoin. And, Nick Carter's argued, for example, that Bitcoin could see a spike in a similar way that, the dollar sees a spike if you get a liquidity shock, that's basically the go-to asset in that space. But I don't really have a strong view on that. I don't really view Tether as driving Bitcoin in the long term, but I wouldn't be surprised if something were to blow up. I wouldn't be surprised to see upside or downside Bitcoin volatility that week.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next podcast episode and new investing resources.
What are your takeaways and thoughts on this discussion? Let us know in the comments section below.